What do you say? Am I lost, Arthur? This is something new, for sure.
Hey, Tracy, can you hear and okay? I want to make sure this
Arthur,
video
do you
is
hear
working.
me? Send me a message. Make sure everybody's hearing me good.
Please let me know if you can hear or see me on this video. I want to make sure that it's working properly. If not, I would have to start it over. So if you can hear and see me, Tracy, can you just please let me know?
Hey, Albert White, how you doing? Hey, Quincy.
Hello, welcome to Warriors Talk with Lady Rochelle here on UBM Radio. And I'm so excited you have chosen to tune in today. It is Motivational Monday, and I want you to stay connected with me on all forms of social media. Facebook /Warriors Talk with the Nest, Twitter @Warriors Talk 1, Instagram Warriors Talk 1. You can always email me show ideas at warriorstalk1@gmail.com. And we are live right now on Facebook as well as Periscope. If you ever miss a live broadcast of the show, please go to Spreaker.com, and that's SPREAKER.com. Follow me and I will follow you back. You can also subscribe to my YouTube channel by going to Warriors Talk with Lady Rochelle for Eyes on the Community, as I attend different events as it relates to cancer and other diseases that are plaguing our community. We would always love to hear from you. You can call in at 312-754-4333. And I would like to highlight my sponsors who make it possible for me to go live week after week. We have Emanuel Church of God in Christ with Pastor Michael Richardson, located at 3058 West Van Buren in Chicago. You can go to EmanuelChurchofGodInChrist.com for service information. We are also sponsored by Allstate with PaulaKelly, and she is located at 297 East Glenwood Lansing Road in Glenwood, Illinois. You can email her at PaulaKelly@allstate.com, specializing in all of your insurance needs. This show is actually dedicated to everyone who is suffering from heart disease. We are going red for the entire month of February in honor of heart disease, which is the #1 killer in America. Going red is all about staying heart healthy. Last week on the show, we had a dynamic couple. We had Reverend Rick McCain and author Brenda McCain, and they came on and they helped us rediscover intimacy in our relationships. They talked about women, we have so much power when it comes to relationships. We should be showing our men how to be intimate with us without being fleshly intimate. Intimacy should be a daily basis, and also we should be teaching our mates how to treat us. Women, he wanted us to know how much power we have. Brenda McCain wanted us to know to wait. Stop giving in so easily when it comes to our flesh. So if you could take anything away from that show, please know that we should be building relationships on a solid foundation. And women, know your power. Practice intimacy on a daily basis. Never stop courting each other. We are also still celebrating African American History Month. And this month we are celebrating Henrietta Lacks. And Henrietta Lacks was a mother of 5, married. She was actually born October 1st, 1920 in Virginia. She actually died of cervical cancer back in October the 4th of 1951 at the age of 31. And cells taken from her body without her knowledge formed the HeLa cell line, which actually been used for extensive medical research. So Henrietta Lacks is someone we should know, not just in African American history, but in history, period. Our healing verse of the day is coming from James 5:16. Confess your faults one to another and pray one for another, that ye may be healed. The effectual fervent prayer of the righteous man availeth much. Our battle of the day is the 411 on HPV. Okay, so he's doing a clip. Okay, if anybody is watching and you can hear and see me, can you please type it in the comments so that I know that this is working? Because I'm thinking it's not working.
You want me to ask? Want me to ask?
No, because they can't see. They only can see yours because they're different.
Oh, you're too much yours.
Yes.
Hey,
Okay.
you guys, you all see me?
Thank you, Natalie. How you look
Just type
great.
in a
Oh,
message if you do,
awesome.
to let me know
Thank
that
you
you're
so
still
much.
there
I
with
appreciate you
me.
tuning in and supporting. I just want to make sure this is working
Thank you.
because I don't want to do the whole video and then it doesn't work and you can't hear anything. So I appreciate you.
Barb.
Thank you so much.
Hey, BA. Thank you.
So we're listening to a clip, and I know you can't hear it because you're on Facebook Live. Let me see. It's not even loud enough. So it's telling us about HPV, and it'll be maybe another minute or so before we actually start going live and I introduce my guests. So if you can, and if you will, can you please share this video so that others may get this valuable information? I really would appreciate it. Thank you, Natalie, for sharing the video. I appreciate it. Thank you. Okay. So we're just waiting on the clip to finish talking about the importance of HPV. It's talking about the risks and the people who are taking other medications. Sometimes it can suppress your immune system that will cause you to get the HPV virus. The only thing that I don't like about Facebook Live is that they can't hear what we're hearing in our headphones.
Mm-hmm.
So they only can hear when we're having a conversation, but anything that's inside of our headphones, they can't hear. So that's why I was communicating.
The video is going to be, is it, the video is going to be on the page when it finishes?
Yes,
Okay.
it will. As long as you press that finish button, yes.
Oh, okay, good.
Natalie, so I've heard about the vaccine for boys and girls. Is it now part of a normal vaccine for kids? It's part of the normal vaccine, but I think you still have to say yes or no. You still can say yes or no to the vaccine.
Yeah, you can. It's
Right.
your choice.
It's your choice. And I learned that with my daughter because she's 18 now. So when she went for her physical, they was like, oh, you don't have to come with her. She
Thank you,
comes
Shirley
back
Rockington.
and she's like, oh, Ma, I got the HPV shot vaccine. And I'm like, what?
Francis.
They didn't ask me. And she's like, they don't have to. I'm 18. And I was kind of mad about it. But she's 18, and it's a risk that she didn't want to take about getting cervical cancer. So, hello, O, how are you? Thank you for tuning in. Hello, James. So, yes, it's hold on. You don't need that.
Okay, just
That's only for the stick when you're.
okay.
So, it's part of the normal vaccines, but you still have a right to say yes or no to any of them. Okay. Chilling? You chilling? Oh, okay. Okay, the video is ending in like 10 seconds.
Hey, Marla, how you doing? Good morning. Good evening.
And we are talking about the 411 on HPV. And HPV stands for human papilloma virus. HPV is the most common sexually transmitted infection. HPV is different from HIV and also different from HSV, which is herpes. HPV is so common that nearly all sexually active men and women at some point in their lives get HPV. There are so many different types of HPV, and some of them causes health problems such as genital warts as well as cancers. So I'm going to introduce my special guest on today because she has a lot of information to share with you about the 411 on HPV. Shirley Smith, Cheryl the Pearl, native Chicagoan, attended Finger High School, Malcolm X College, major in nutrition, dietetic technology, Columbia College. She majored in television, photography, and film production. Part owner of Better This Way Film Productions, a film production group that currently works on short films. Right now, it's on the uprise in suicide in America, especially among the youth. As a singer, a songwriter, she's looking forward to getting her music out to the universe. You should have told me that. You could have brought some music here today. Didn't know that. Her proudest moment, her proudest accomplishment is being a cervical cancer survivor. Initially in 1996, and then returning to March the 27th of this year, she will be celebrating 1 year of being healed of her second diagnosis, and she give all praises to God. This journey has led her on her mission in life. She is an advocate who spreads awareness on how prevalent HPV is. She's educating all of those who are at risk, getting the facts out, and getting them to take action. She's hoping that her testimony would eliminate others from the hurt, pain, and the loss that occurs with this disease. She's been through the storm twice, so it's time to live strong through the fire without limits. Welcome to Warriors Talk, two-time cancer survivor, Shirley Smith. Welcome, Shirley.
Hello, thank you, Rochelle. I thank you for the invitation of asking me to come here today. I just want to, God has blessed me immensely to be here, so I want to make sure that people are aware of the fact that the HPV virus is a very strong virus, and it can cause cancer, which we know is deadly. In my case, it caused cervical cancer. One thing I do want people to be aware of, that HPV not only it's prominent among adults, you can get that disease as early as 9 years old. And new cases, I'm going to give you some statistics that new cases, about 50% occur in young adults in between the ages of 15 to 24 years old. There are about approximately 14 million new HPV infestations in the U.S. For those who don't clear the virus, HPV can cause potentially serious diseases. And unfortunately, some of those diseases which do cause cancer. And there is a way to, there is no way to predict the virus will attack and when it will clear. The best information that I would like to give is you have to make sure that you follow up with your doctors.
Thank you, Beckman.
Women always do go and have your pap smears, and of course it doesn't just affect women, it does affect males as well. So please go and do your due diligence, follow up with your doctors, and take all precautions, go to all your doctor's visits, and do whatever is necessary to save your life. And I wanted to also put information out that there is for childhood, for young children now, starting at the age of 9, there is a virus immunization that they do give called Gardasil, which is Gardasil 9. You can go on Google, please Google it and find out the information, and so that you can, it may be something that your child may be needing at some particular time in their life. It's not going to prevent it, but it is a measure of safety.
Oh wow, that was a wealth of information, Shirley, and I know that all of those that are listening who have, especially that have children, would really appreciate that information. And sometimes when we hear these different diseases, we think, oh no, not me. Like, we think that we are the last ones to be touched with these diseases, and not so, because we know that it's transmitted sexually. So any type of sexual contact, be it through the vagina, through the penis, the anus, the mouth. All of that can contribute to you getting HPV. And I think a lot of people, when they hear HPV, it's so close with HIV that they tend to maybe dismiss it.
Right.
And but it's not the same as HIV. It's still a virus, but it's not as deadly, but it can become deadly if it's not caught in time, and depending on what strain that you get, because there's so many different strands when it comes to HPV. So what I want you to do, Shirley, is to just take us on your journey and lead us up to your cancer diagnosis.
Okay, well, actually, the first time that I was diagnosed, which was back in 1996, and there was never any type of great symptom that I had. The only symptom that I had was I woke up one morning and my lip had swelled up. And after a week of, taking Benadryl and putting ice on my lip, I then decided that I need to go into a doctor because I couldn't understand why my lip would not, go down. And at that particular time when I did go to the doctor, that's when we took allergy test and other tests, and he decided to have me do a pap smear. And once we took the pap smear there, we saw that there were cells, which are called squamous cells, mm-hmm. which are insurmountable. There is no number of how many cells they were. Wow. And from that point, then I had a series of, I had a couple of operations, should I say, and of course I had to follow up with my doctor. And at that point, it went away for 15 years. And unfortunately, while I was working at the airlines, I had an injury which caused me to have spine surgery. Mm. And during that time, the virus came back because at that point I didn't have an immune system. Mm. So there must have been a cell, it could be just one cell, that became affected. And it, of course, it started the whole thing all over again. So 2 years ago, I had another major surgery where they did find all of the cells, which were thousands, wow. several thousands of cells, but they were all in one area. So they were able to remove those cells, test my body, and the scientists saw that there were no more cells anywhere. So God bless me to be here today and to be able to share my testimony so that I can help someone else, because I did go through a lot of there were moments where it was painful. I went through a lot of pain. I went through a lot of medications, a lot of doctor's visits, back and forth. I lost a job in the process because I wasn't able to work for a while. And I had to, of course, heal and just, I went through a whole lot, and I'm not saying that to give anybody sympathy. I'm just saying it because I don't want anyone's child to have to go through what I went through. So if this is my way of making you aware that please go have your child tested, and if it's available for them to take that shot, then let them take it, because we go out now and we've taken shots as children for measles mm-hmm. and chicken pox, and we didn't know what was in the shot. All we knew was it was supposed to help prevent us from getting ill. So if you just think about this as your child, and maybe not now, maybe 20 years from now, they could all of a sudden start having these symptoms and start going through this, So this is my way of giving back and helping to prevent someone from dealing with all the pain that I went through and all the doctors and just so much.
And you know what? Cancer would do that to you. It would put you in a place to where you don't want anybody else to experience what you experience. So you do become an advocate. You do educate yourself, and you want to educate others on what you went through so that they don't have to go through any of that. And this disease starts as early as 9 years old. And I was reading that it can lie dormant. It can
yes.
lie dormant in your system, as it did with you, because in 95 you had the incident and it was gone. And then when your immune system was compromised, then it came back.
Exactly.
And then thank God that everything was in one place.
Yes.
Like you said, it was
yes.
insurmountable. It was in one place. And you were able to get your treatment and get it out of the way and get back on your feet and get back to normal. And so the purpose of you being here today is so that you can get the word out, because HPV is not something that we talk about. You don't hear about it often.
That's true.
And I have to admit, I was talking to Natalie online when we was talking about my daughter when she turned 18, went to the doctor, and I was like, she took the actually HPV test. She's 18, so I'm like, okay, she comes out with this paper. I'm like, what is that? And she was like, oh, I just got one treatment. I'm like, why? They didn't ask me, but she's 18, so she didn't have to ask me. And I was kind of upset because I didn't have time to sit and read about what this was. I heard about it, but never had time to sit and actually read about it. And so she made the decision that this was something that she wanted to do. And so I had to respect that, but I wasn't happy about it. But as I've been researching on it right now, it actually puts you in a position to protect yourself. It may not be right now, but later on in life, because she's not sexually active right now. So when she does become sexually active, it will put her in a place to be protected. Now, it's said to use, when you're having sex, use a condom. Still use a condom, because those areas that are not being protected and they come in contact with the skin of someone else who has it, then you can catch it. So you still need to be careful in that way when you're having sex. So, I mean, this information is important. A lot of people, as Black people, we tend to figure out if it hasn't happened to me or anybody close I know, we tend to dismiss certain diseases, especially if it's associated with the word cancer. We do.
Certainly. We certainly do.
We do. So tell me, when you was going through this, did you think about, why me? Why am I going through this?
I wasn't so much a thought of why me. It was the thought of, God, if it be your will that I live, I must live. Because I thought about how much of a heartbreak of me just leaving would be for my mother and my father and my sisters, just my whole family and friends, people that really love me. And I also just felt like, it is funny because I can think of a couple of times where I was just really totally depressed. Most of the time, I've always continued to do the things that I wanted to concentrate on doing, especially back in 1996, when it seemed like when I had it that first time, it was really, really rough. But I just continued on with life as normal, because maybe I might have been in a little bit of denial too, but that was a good thing for me in a sense, because it didn't allow me to get totally depressed, because as I said, I was dealing with a lot of pain and a lot of suffering and going back and forth to the emergency room and taking this type of medication and certain things, and it's funny how when you're very ill like that, you learn a lot of things. You learn who are really your friends, and who are not your friends, because people who love you, they're going to show up and they're going to be there for you.
That support system.
And I even honestly had someone say at one time that they thought I was not ill. I didn't have cancer, and I'm like, who would say that they would have something like that,
right.
or they look at it as like it's a ploy for attention, and who would go to that extreme? I know I wouldn't, but like I said, I learned a lot when I was ill. I found out how strong I was, and how sometimes how weak I could be, But I also learned, like I said, that I knew that God loved me, because He did heal me, and He healed me again.
Mm-hmm.
Yes. Mm-hmm.
So when you going through this and you find out who's there and who's not, what was your team like? What was your support team like?
My support team was always just there for me for anything. I had my and at the time, like I said, I was living in Atlanta, and
okay.
My family, I did have a sister there, Rena. She's there with her husband, and my nephews were there, and close friends were there. And they were there to just, if I wanted to cry. If I needed something, they were there to lift me up. And every time I looked, my mother and father were in town, or my sisters or somebody, you would think that they were 10 miles away.
Wow.
But they were always there for me, supported me, made sure that everything was okay with me. And even with the my employment, my employers, they were there for me when I told them I had to just stop working because I was getting to the point where I could not work. They were, they supported that and offered me the opportunity when I did survive this to come back and be with
Wow.
them, you know. So all of that was a good thing for me.
So
Yeah.
that was definitely a stressor lifted from you, because most people going through a cancer battle, they end up losing their jobs because they too sick to come to work. They're missing so many days off work, and sometimes your employer is not as sensitive to what you're going through because they probably haven't dealt with it in the workplace already. And then it's your finances that's in trouble
Yeah,
too, because
yeah.
having cancer is not cheap.
Mhm.
You incur a lot of bills. Some bills you have to fight to get paid, get approved, and the last thing you want to worry about going through a cancer diagnosis is, am I going to be able to pay for my medicine? Am I going to be able to pay for my copay? Am I going to be able to have this procedure because my insurance may not cover it? And so when you have that peace of mind going through, that's nothing but the grace of God, because you need that going through. The last thing you want to do is be stressed going through a cancer diagnosis. And sometimes people take for granted that are not going through, and they're not sensitive to what you're going through. And so that's why we have to always come back to God, and we have to always give glory to Him, because He keeps us sane, and because He deserves it. He deserves all the honor, all the praise. So we're going to listen to J.J. Harrison, and You Deserve It. Awesome. That was the first half hour, girl.
Okay.
Hey, you guys, I don't know if I feel like ending this. So
Thank
this
you
is
for
the break.
explaining.
I'm going to end this
Thank you.
because I don't know if this is actually working or not, and I'm nervous. So I'm going to go to part 2.